I knew things were going to be different the day I walked into my new school. I had been born and raised in Philadelphia, and moving an hour outside the city felt like somebody had picked me up and set me down in a place that looked familiar but did not talk or move the same. Different, to me, meant that I had to get used to it whether I liked it or not. My father asked me to stay out of trouble, and my mother flat out told me to keep myself clean, so that is what I did. The people there were all kinds. There were some black families, a few Puerto Rican and Mexican families, a couple of Italian families, and some Jewish folks. Most of the people, though, were stubborn Pennsylvania Dutch, not Amish and not Mennonites, just German Lutheran people who had been in that part of the state forever and ran most things around there. Because it was such a mix, I did not have a hard time fitting in, but I missed my friends back in Philadelphia. After I finished school, I stayed in the area mostly because I wanted to be close to my family. I still drove back to the old neighborhood pretty often and kept up with the guys I grew up with. My first real job was driving a fuel oil delivery truck. After a couple of years, they brought me inside to do dispatch and take orders. I was good at it, and I could actually picture myself someday owning a place like that. After a while, I also had no problem meeting women, so my social life turned out better than I thought it would. When I got married, my mother was a little let down that the woman I picked was not Italian, but she did what mothers do and made sure my wife was treated like she belonged from day one. My wife's name was Lisa. We had 2 kids. After the second one, Lisa told me she wanted me to get a vasectomy. I did not make a big deal out of it. I went and got it done. Things were fine until both kids started school. Then Lisa wanted to go back to work. My father never believed it was a good idea for a wife and mother to work outside the home. At the time, I did not really understand his full reason, but when I look back now, I kind of see what he meant. It was not that I hated the idea of Lisa working. What I did not like was that she was spending more of her time around the people she had grown up with, the same people I had never really clicked with. Some of her old friends I liked well enough, but not all of them. Back in school, Lisa had been one of those girls who was in everything. Clubs, committees, chorus, fundraisers, anything the school did, she was there. She loved that stuff. I was the opposite. I stayed away from that crowd. I always thought they were a bunch of show-offs patting each other on the back. I knew she had been sexually active before we met. I had been too. We just did not talk about what we had done before we were together. It was not a rule. We just never went there. We had been married about 10 years when things started to split. Lisa was working in the claims department at one of the national insurance companies in town. I got nervous when she started working overtime and then started going in on weekends. After 6 months of that, I knew I was going to have to shut it down when she brought up the seminar. "Mike, I really do not understand what the problem is," she said. "It is only for 3 days. I already talked to your mother, and she said she would stay with the kids while I am gone. You will be home at night. I know you can cook for yourself." I could not believe she had the nerve to ask. "Who was going on this seminar?" I asked. She perked up a little like she thought I was giving in. 6 girls from the department. Karen Mills from personnel and Kevin. I smiled when she said his name. I was shocked she had not figured out that I knew about her special lunches and her late-night work sessions with her boss, Kevin Harper. She and Kevin had grown up together. He was one of those guys who was in every club, every school event, everything except sports. "Do you think I am stupid, Lisa?" I asked. "I do not understand," she said. "What are you talking about?" "I have known about you and Kevin for 6 months," I said. "If you think I am going to let you go away with him for 3 days, you are out of your mind." "Mike, what are you talking about? Kevin is my boss. There is nothing going on between us. I would never cheat on you. You know that." I looked at the empty Budweiser can in my hand. I got up slow out of the chair, walked into the kitchen, crushed the thin aluminum in my fist, and tossed it toward the trash can. I missed, but I did not bother to pick it up. I grabbed a new can, popped the top, heard the hiss, and sat back down. Lisa sat there looking at me, waiting. "You are the mother of my children," I said. "And as a mother, you do a good job. That is the only reason I have not thrown you out." I talked to my mother and told her everything. She said I should stand firm and hope you get this out of your system for the sake of the kids. "If I throw you out, the court will hand my children to you. I cannot let that happen." "You told your mother that I was cheating on you?" she said. "No," I said. "A lady from church told her." I just did not deny it when my mother asked me. "You are not serious. I do not believe you. Why are you saying this?" she said. I took a long drink of beer and felt it go down. "Kevin lives at 214 Maple Lane," I said. It is only 3 blocks from your office. You and your boss go to his place about 3 times a week and stay almost 3 hours every time. I said, tell me what the two of you do in his apartment for 3 hours. After you explain that, you can tell me about all that overtime you have been working at the office. Did you know the woman who cleans your floor goes to church with my mother? Lisa's eyes filled up right away, and her bottom lip started to shake. As long as you do not embarrass me or my family in public, I will not do anything, I said. If that changes, then everything is off. You can stay or you can leave, but you are not taking my boys away from me. She jumped up out of the chair. Damn you, Mike. I hate you. You. She could not even finish it. She ran out of the room, crying hard. That was the first time she had ever cursed at me, and the first time she ever threw my family background in my face. The Pennsylvania Dutch side of her finally showed itself. We had 2 sons, Tyler and Ricky, and they shared a room with bunk beds. The third bedroom was just a catch-all room where we kept boxes and old clothes. From that day on, that was where I slept. We were renting the house. We had over $60,000 put away for the down payment on the house we wanted to build, but that dream had turned into a nightmare. Nothing else was said about the seminar. Lisa stopped working overtime. She started packing her own lunch. The feeling in the house was not just chilly. It was cold and hard. My mother did not hear any more news from the ladies at church. On the outside, it looked like things were settling down, but I did not feel right. There was no intimacy at all, and I was not going to live like that forever. Against my better judgment, I said I would go with Lisa to her company Christmas party. I did not want her there alone, and I figured I could just stay quiet, keep to myself, and get through the evening. That was the plan. It was not a good plan. The company rented a hall with a dance floor, a buffet line, and a couple of open bars. I can make 3 beers last all night and stay steady, so I started slow. By the time we got there, the only tables left were the ones up near the executives. It was clear everybody else was trying to stay away from those seats. For about an hour, everything looked normal. I spotted Kevin on the other side of the room with some of the guys. A couple of men from Lisa's department asked her to dance, and I let her go because I did not want to dance. Kevin kept his distance, which was fine with me. I was working on my 3rd beer when I saw it. Lisa and Kevin were passing looks. Little nods. Head tilts. Nothing big, but I knew that silent talk when I saw it. I kept my face bored and my body relaxed, but I watched them. I am going to use the ladies' room, Lisa said. I scanned the room. Kevin was gone. I could not believe it. After everything we had said at home, after I had told her flat out that I knew about the 2 of them, she was really going to try and meet him while I was in the same building. She could see him every day at work and nobody would ever know. The only reason to do it here was to make me look like a fool in front of everybody. If she met up with Kevin in the middle of the company party, with his buddies right there, it would be like she was putting the horns on me in public. His friends were standing by one of the bars with big, stupid smiles on their faces as Lisa headed down the hallway toward the restrooms. She looked back to make sure I was still at the table, then she disappeared. On my way to the restrooms, I stopped at the head table. I leaned in and told them I was sorry for interrupting the party, just loud enough so people would notice me. The grinning guys across the room were not smiling anymore. They were nervous, because they knew there was nothing they could do to help Kevin now. I pushed the door to the ladies' room first. Empty. I had better luck in the men's room. After that, everything went fast. They were kissing. His back was to me. His hand was up her skirt. She was not fighting him. I grabbed Kevin by the back of the neck, stepped to the side, and slammed his head forward into the tile wall. I heard something crack. Lisa was yelling my name over and over, but I did not listen. I spun him around. Blood from his nose hit my shirt. He was limp but still on his feet, so I drove my fist into his stomach. He dropped and started throwing up right away. Lisa was tugging on my jacket sleeve, but it was like a little kid pulling on me. Out in the main hall, it had gone quiet. I dragged Kevin by his necktie out to the middle of the floor. Maybe I was choking him. I did not care. The band had stopped. Everybody was watching. I dropped him there and looked around to see if anybody wanted to step in. Nobody did. I am sorry for ruining your nice party, I said. I am leaving now. I am leaving my wife here for your entertainment. Drop her off at the house when you are finished passing her around. Kevin was on his hands and knees trying to stand up. His face was covered in blood. Lisa was standing in the doorway with her mouth open. I could not tell if she was more upset about what I had done to her boyfriend or about what I had said in front of everyone she worked with. I honestly did not care. I saw that Kevin was right under the mistletoe. I could not help myself. On my way out, I swung my foot and caught him straight between the legs. He folded forward and smashed his face on the floor again. That had to hurt. The whole room was dead quiet. Nobody said one word. I went out to the car and called my mother. I told her to come to the house and pick up the boys. I was thinking that getting out of town for a few days was the smartest thing I could do. I did not want to leave the kids with their mother that night. I was sure she was in no shape to take proper care of them. I was driving and planning at the same time, not really sure where I was going. My boss did not have a problem letting me take a week off. My parents were already at the house when I got there. I paid the babysitter and helped Mom get Tyler and Ricky ready. I threw my things into one bag. It was mostly socks and underwear with a couple of shirts and a pair of pants, just in case. Before I left, I climbed up into the basement rafters and pulled down the cash box. The banks were paying less than 1% on savings, so I had been keeping the money at home. I know it was dumb to keep $62,000 in a house we were renting, but I guess I got that from my mother. She used to hide cash all over her kitchen. I was shutting off the lights when a cab pulled up and dropped Lisa off. She came in and sat on the couch without saying a word. She looked more worried than angry. More like she did not know what was going to happen. I told you there was only one rule, I said. Do not shame me or my family in public. You just could not stop yourself, could you? She started to cry. I let her. Then I walked out. It was a little after 9 o'clock when I got on the Schuylkill Expressway. That party had not lasted long for me. I decided to spend a few days in Atlantic City before I went back home. But first I wanted to see my old friend, Sal. Sal had a sandwich shop back in the neighborhood. It was not one of those fancy places they show in the Philadelphia tourist videos. It was more like a spot for locals. Most of his real money came from other things that most of us either pretended not to see or helped with from time to time. He lived upstairs on the second floor and did his business out of the back room. Seeing him was like going back in time. I told him what was going on. He said he could take care of it. Mike, it is going to run you 20, he said. Can you handle it? Or do you need me to float you? I got it up front, I said. No problem. You want it loud or you want it quiet? Quiet, I said. No mess. No police. Nothing that sticks. Then you need to be gone for a few days, he said. You have a place to go? Not yet. I was thinking Atlantic City. How about 6 days and 7 nights at the Taj Mahal, he said. What are you talking about, Sal? I asked. I got some comps coming. I can make it work for you. Sounds good to me, I said. You going alone, Mike? Yeah. This is kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. I did not have time to invite anybody. You should not go alone, he said. You need somebody who can swear you were there. Hold on. Sal picked up the phone and dialed a number like he called it every day. Carla, it is Sal. Make yourself look nice and get down here. He paused. No, nothing like that. You are going on vacation. He was grinning when he hung up. Mike, you remember Carla? My brother Michael's oldest. Yeah, chubby kid. Dark brown eyes. Always laughing. I remember her. How old is she now? Sal was smiling big because I remembered. She is 23 now, Mike, and she is not chubby anymore. That was when it hit me that Carla was going to Atlantic City with me. I felt a little strange about it because she was his niece, but he was the one setting the whole thing up. Mike, you have a credit card? I got 2. I was going to cancel them Monday morning. No, do not cancel them. I want you to use those cards. Eat out. Order room service. Take some casino cash advances. Do not be stupid with it, but use them. You need a paper trail to show you were there. Spread it out over the days so it does not look like you came home in the middle. It might cost you a couple $1,000s, but that is cheap insurance. Sal knew what he was doing. It all made sense. I was still thinking it through when Carla walked in. Mike, I have not seen you since you moved up to the country, she said. You look good. Now I knew why Sal was smiling. Carla was beautiful. Those dark eyes were something. All the baby fat she used to have was gone, and it looked like most of it had moved to her chest. I jumped up so fast I knocked over my chair like some clumsy guy. Sal said, Mike needs somebody to ride along to Atlantic City for a few days. Can you do that? Her face changed right away. Are you not still married? She asked me. Before I could open my mouth, Sal cut in. That marriage is finished, Carla. Mike needs somebody to look after him right now. I knew you always liked him, so I called you first. Sal, I am not going to help break up somebody's home, she said. That is not fair, and I am not one of your girls. Get one of them to go. I am not asking you to sleep with him, Sal said. Just keep him company. Keep his mind off what is going on. Carla looked at him, then at me, like something had clicked. She was not just pretty. She was sharp. "I am sorry," she said, smiling a little. "I will go with you, Mike. But you have to promise to buy me saltwater taffy." We all laughed. "I will need about an hour to get ready," she said. "Do not let him drink, Sal. I do not want to drive down there with a drunk." I could swear she gave me a quick wink before she left. While she was gone, Sal and I went over everything again. I handed him the $20,000, and he promised me it would be handled and that I would be satisfied. The ride to Atlantic City was nothing special. Carla made me tell the whole story about Lisa and her boss. When I finished, all she said was, "Those poor boys." When we got to the hotel, she frowned when she saw there were 2 beds. She did not see me grinning to myself. I had a feeling we were only going to need one of them before the week was over. Things like that work themselves out. We gambled a little, but not crazy. I knew that in the end the house wins. Carla was happy with the quarter slot machines. I was just trying to pass the time. We spent more time eating, walking the boardwalk, and going to every show we could get into. I was a perfect gentleman the first night. By noon on the second day, Carla and I were in bed like we had been doing it for years. My mother had been right. I should have married an Italian woman. It felt easy. It did not even feel like I was cheating. We were getting dressed for supper on the 4th day when we got company. 2 men, not in suits, but in sport coats. "Michael DeLuca," the first one said. "I am Raymond Fritz, and this is my partner, Robert Marks. We are with the Berks County Special Crimes Task Force. Can we talk to you?" Carla walked out of the bathroom in only her underwear. She looked at them, then picked up her robe from the bed and slipped it on. She looked a little embarrassed, but she had known somebody might show up. "What is this about?" I asked. "Give me an idea." "We want to talk about your relationship with a man named Kevin Harper," Fritz said. "I did not have a relationship with Kevin Harper," I said. "My wife did." That seemed to throw them a little. Fritz did the talking. Marks was too busy staring at Carla. "We understand that you had an argument with him last Friday night at the Continental Insurance Christmas party," Fritz said. "Is he pressing charges?" I asked. "No," Fritz said. "He is missing. We were hoping you could help us find him." "Gentlemen," I said, "before we go any farther, I want somebody from the Atlantic City Police Department here. And I do not mean a uniform. If you cannot do that, then I want my lawyer from Reading." They did not say anything. "Carla, get dressed. We are going to supper," I said. "Sorry, fellas. We have 6 o'clock reservations. The steaks at the safari are great. I will probably be back home on Friday. I can come talk to you then." They looked a little confused. "Why are you so sure something happened to this guy?" I asked. "Maybe he just took off. He was put in a taxi cab at the Community General Hospital on Sunday morning," Fritz said, "and no one has seen him since." Carla was dressed now. I put on my jacket. "I have been here since Friday night," I said, "and the hotel can confirm that. Now, if you will excuse us, we are going to eat. Do you have any more questions?" "Yes," Fritz said, "but they can wait until Friday. We expect to see you then." I nodded and walked them to the door. We all rode the elevator down together. Nobody said a word. In the lobby, they went to hotel security and Carla and I went to get our steaks. When I got home, Tyler and Ricky jumped all over me. The saltwater taffy helped. Lisa was cold. She clearly did not know what I was going to do next. After the detectives left, I spent the afternoon with the boys and planned to talk to Lisa that night. I set them up in front of the television, then sat at the kitchen table and waited for her to finish cleaning up. She was taking longer than she ever did to wipe down a kitchen, but I stayed right where I was. At last she turned, came over, and sat across from me, leaning on the old Formica. "What did you do with Kevin?" she asked. She was not yelling. She was not accusing. She sounded worried. She looked straight at me, then stared past me toward the living room. "I was in Atlantic City all week," I said. "I have not seen Kevin since the party." "You heard the detectives." "I hope so," she said. "He was in the hospital for 2 days. You broke his jaw and his nose." "He earned it." She ran out of steam. I decided it was my turn. "What were you doing with him in the men's room?" I asked. She said nothing. "Why did he have his hand up your skirt?" I asked again. Still nothing. Lisa just twisted her hands together and stared at the table. "Why are you not at work? And why are the boys home on a school day?" "I had to quit," she said. "There was no way I could ever walk in there again. I brought the boys home because your mother said you might be back today. It was time to put it all out. I told you there was one rule," I said. "Do not shame me and do not shame my family. That was it. 1. Why did you have to wreck everything by doing exactly that? You and that clown just had to rub it in. Why? She started to fidget more. I slammed my fist on the table. I said, why? Answer me. I do not know why. I do not know why, she said, crying now. It just happened. You were sitting in the corner like a lost puppy, and we thought we could get away with it. We did not think you were going to go crazy. You acted like a maniac. I was scared. At least she was showing something. None of it made sense. They could have met any day at lunch or after work, and I never would have known. They picked that time and that place because they wanted me to wear the horns in front of everybody. All the rest was noise. Lisa, you have 3 choices, I said. You can stay here and be a real mother to your kids. You can file for divorce and leave without the kids. Or you can just disappear. If you stay, we are not husband and wife anymore. And I will not put up with Kevin or any other guy. As soon as I said Kevin's name, she broke down. Before I could make her choose, she ran from the room bawling. I figured we would finish it the next day. So we adjusted. I rented a small place a few blocks away, close enough for Tyler and Ricky to walk over whenever they wanted. Carla moved in with me. The county guys talked to me a few more times and then left me alone. Kevin Harper was put in a cab outside the hospital, and nobody ever laid eyes on him again. His folks put up a reward, but nobody called. I ate supper with Lisa and the boys every night, and I spent every weekend I could with my sons. Everybody could see that Lisa and I were not a couple anymore, even though the marriage still existed on paper. She was with her parents and her sister a lot. That was fine. There was no sign she was running around. She quit right after the Christmas party and never tried to get another job. We never went back to that first conversation. She did her part as a mother. The house was clean. The boys were fed. Their clothes were washed. I did the grass, the snow, and the repairs. I gave Lisa $200 every week for food and the house and anything she needed. I always asked if she wanted more. She always said no. We had no credit cards anymore. On Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, the boys and I were with my people. Carla came along most years. Lisa stayed with her family, but she had the boys on Christmas Eve. It was always a little tight when Tyler or Ricky tried to ask what was going on between their mom and me. Neither of us would tell them. I was glad she did not badmouth me, but honestly, what could she say? That make-believe setup dragged on for years. What I am telling you does not really show all of it. There were plenty of fights and small messes in between, but we kept it together. Things with Carla were good at first. Then, slowly, she started spending more time back in Philadelphia with her own family. I could not blame her. I owed her a lot for making that first part bearable. I could not divorce Lisa without risking the boys, and as long as they were living at home, I would not throw her out. Those were rules I made for myself, and I stuck to them. I hated the whole deal, but I could not see a better one. The boys, though, they figured out their own way. Tyler was 16 when it all blew up. That whole mess started because a new kid at school was related to Kevin and would not stop poking at my son about it. It was the first time any of it had ever come up in public, and Tyler was not ready. Kevin's nephew ended up in the hospital, and I ended up getting a call to come pick up my boy. The school kicked Tyler out for 2 weeks and said the district attorney might file assault charges. Rick was there when it blew up and tried to jump in to help his brother. He lost 2 teeth, but he earned his brother's respect. When I brought the boys home, Lisa was at the door. Tyler went right at her. He wanted to know why she had never told them what really happened back when they were little. She did not say one word to defend herself. She just stood there and took it. I left them to it and took Rick to the dentist. He was not that upset about the teeth. I was the one thinking about the bill. When we got back, Lisa was gone. Her car was still out front, but she was not in the house. Tyler said she grabbed her purse and walked out without saying where she was going. I took a week off work to calm things down. Her parents and her sister refused to talk to me. After that week, I still did not know where she was or what she was planning. Carla and I moved into the house. Sleeping in the same bed there felt strange at first, but the boys accepted it faster than I expected. One day when I was at work, everything that belonged to Lisa just disappeared. Carla never said where it went, and I never asked. She stepped right into the job Lisa had been doing. I got her a couple of credit cards to make it easier. Funny thing was, I trusted my girlfriend more than I had trusted my wife. I sold Lisa's car and bought Carla a new one. Family dinners were a lot easier with Carla around. She was relaxed, and my mother was over the moon. Tyler and Rick stopped having trouble at school, and Kevin's nephew never came back. Things were finally going the right way, except for one thing. I was still married. I waited 2 months and then went to the police. I did not make a big drama out of it. I just reported Lisa as a missing spouse so I would have something in writing when I filed for divorce on abandonment. 2 months after that, I filed. She had to be gone a full year before the judge would sign off, so I was counting days. Life settled in. The boys talked to Carla easily. They never called her mom. Always Carla. But it was good. We felt more like a real family than we had in a long time. Then one day the final divorce papers showed up. Just like that, I was free. 2 weeks later, Carla and I drove down to Elkton, Maryland, and got married. Just the two of us. We were a family again. Tyler finished high school and joined the United States Air Force. A year later, Rick went to meat cutting school out in Toledo, Ohio. It all went by fast. Pretty soon it was just Carla and me in the house. We never heard from Lisa again. My parents moved down to Ocala, Florida, and made everybody promise to visit twice a year. Nothing was keeping us in Reading anymore, so Carla and I moved back to Philadelphia. Rick got on with a fancy butcher shop in Westchester after he graduated. We saw him a couple times a month, and he always brought us steaks or roast from work. About a year later, one of Carla's nieces was getting married, so of course we had to go. An Italian wedding in Philadelphia is not a small thing. Half the city shows up. Relatives, cousins you forgot about, and a bunch of people who just heard there would be food and liquor. Nobody cared. There was plenty. We were sitting with some friends having a nice time when I noticed Carla getting antsy. She kept looking across the dance floor. I looked too, but did not see anything strange. I forgot about it until she said she was going to the ladies' room. Something felt off, so I watched her. She went toward the back and met one of her old girlfriends. They laughed, hugged, talked. All clean. Then Carla never went into the restroom. Instead, she walked over to one of Sal's guys. She was pointing toward the table where her girlfriend had come from. There were 3 guys and 3 women sitting at that table. They looked like tough guys playing dress up, and the women were all overdone, tight dresses and too much makeup. Carla came back to me with a serious but steady look. "Mike, we have a little problem," she said. "I figured, the way you were circling the room." "What is it?" "You have to stay calm. In a minute or two, one of those guys at Gina's table is going to walk over here and run his mouth about me. The plan is to make you mad. When you jump up, all 3 of them are going to jump you." "What do you mean, make me mad?" I said. "What am I supposed to do? Sit there and let him talk?" "For a couple of minutes, yes," she said. "Just play along until Bobby V and Sal's boys get into place. You might have to handle one of them, but that will be it." "What do you mean play along?" "If he calls me a name, laugh and ask him how much he wants to pay," she said. "Just do not let him get under your skin." "What started this? What did I do to those guys?" "Look over there," she said. "You see the woman with the short blonde hair?" I looked. Then I looked again. "Jesus, that is Lisa," I said. "What in the world is she doing here?" "Her new boyfriend is related to the bride somehow," Carla said. "She saw you here and told him to tune you up. I guess she still wants payback." "Great," I said. "While you and the boys keep her guy busy outside, Gina and I are going to have a talk with Lisa in the ladies' room," Carla said. "It will not be polite." I did not like it. This was a wedding. A kid was starting her life. She should not remember the night her aunt's boyfriend got his head cracked. About 10 minutes later, I saw the guy with Lisa get up. I stood up too and told the people at our table I would be right back. Carla gave me a look like, "Be smart." I walked toward the side exit where people were going out to smoke. The boyfriend tilted his head and his 2 buddies got up to follow. What they did not see was the 3 men coming from the back of the bar with the wooden bats they kept there for emergencies. There were about 6 guys smoking outside. I told them to clear out. They left quick. I walked maybe 20 steps away from the door and turned around. Lisa's boyfriend and his 2 pals came out smiling like they had the upper hand. Then they heard the door shut behind them. They turned and saw the 3 men with bats. And the father of the bride. It was over in less than half a minute. I did not have to throw one punch. "I am sorry for any trouble I caused you or your family tonight," I told the bride's father. "Thank you for having the sense to take it outside," he said, and shook my hand. I thanked Sal's men and went back inside to look for Carla. They stayed to straighten things up. Carla was not in the hall. Lisa's table was empty. Rick came over. He had heard there was some kind of scuffle. "Dad, what is going on?" he asked. My first thought was to dodge it, but I did not. "Your mother was here with her boyfriend," I said. "That is all I need to know," he said, and ordered a beer. We sat at the bar and talked sports and work for about an hour. Then Carla came back. Her hair was a little out of place, and she had that wicked smile she got when something went her way. "Where were you?" I asked. "Gina and I had to take your ex-wife to the hospital," she said. "She was not feeling very well." Rick and I both started laughing. "Mike, can we go home now?" she said. It had been a long day, but I will admit it was a pretty good one. We never saw Lisa again after that night. Carla and I are still together, back in the old neighborhood. The boys are grown, doing fine. The house is quiet, the bills are paid, and I wake up next to a woman I trust. Life turned out good.